Okay, here we go. This is the practice problem for 2.1 function notation. Looks like the first four here, we're just converting this into function notation, these ordered pairs. So it's just going to be f of 3 is equal to -4. Okay, it's easy as that. So now number 5, we're kind of doing the opposite here. So if these are in function notation, we're just going to convert them to the ordered pair. It's going to be 2 comma 5, and so that is right here over 2 up 5. Okay, those seem pretty easy. Oops, let's see. Okay, number 6 here, or I guess from here on out we're just evaluating the solution. Okay, so the key here to save yourself trouble or a lot of extra work is understanding if you're plugging in for y or for x. Okay, so anytime you have a letter and then parentheses and a number, that's going to be your x, like number 6 here. Whereas number 7, see how this is identical to this? Well, if it says this is equal to 3, then we're just going to plug that in on the left side. Okay. So if you make the mistake on that, you're going to do a lot of unnecessary work. Okay, so I'm going to do the g of -5 is equal to -2 times -5 plus 5, and now you just simplify, right? -2 times -5 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. So it's going to be the g of -5 is equal to -15. There's your x, there's your y. Okay, number 7 is a little bit different, right? We have to plug in on the left side. So that's going to be 3 is equal to the absolute value of -z minus 3 plus 1. Let me go ahead and zoom in here a little bit more. Okay. Let's make sure that's a z, not a 2. Okay, so here we actually have to solve for a z here. Okay, so we need to solve this absolute value equation. So we need to do those steps, get everything outside the absolute value bars. We're left with the absolute value of z minus 3. Is there going to be a solution? Yes, this is positive out here, so we're going to just set up two equations. The first one, we simply remove the absolute value bars. The second one, we set it up equal to its opposite, and we solve. Solve it the same way here. Add 3. 5 is equal to -z. And on this side, we're going to add 3 as well. We're going to get 1 is equal to -z. And so hopefully you guys just recognize that if you have a -z is equal to a +5, well then a +z is going to equal to -5. But if you want to see the process, this is really a -1z. So to undo that, or to get this to a +1z, we divide by -1. Divide by -1, and we get z is equal to -5, or sorry, -5. And then on this one here, same thing. Divide by -1. Divide by -1, and you're left with z is equal to -1. Okay, so two answers on that one. All right, moving on. I think I'll just set up some of these for you guys, and you can go from there. This is your x, right? So you're going to do b of -4 is equal to 2 times -4 cubed minus 4. And then go ahead and solve from there. Number 9, this one should be really easy because we're going to put this in for y. So this is -3 is equal to 2x minus 5. And now you just have a two-step equation. Let's go ahead and solve for x. Number 10. Okay, number 10, we've got a factor, so I'll walk you through that one. So we've got the g of u is equal to 104, right? So these are identical, so we're going to substitute that out. You get u squared is minus 5u. First thing you need to do is subtract 104, subtract 104, and so you're left with 0 is equal to u squared minus 5u minus 104. Okay, and then you'd break down the factors of 104 because we are looking for two numbers that multiply to equal negative 104 and then add up to equal negative 5. Okay, so you just break down, you can, if you're not sure, 104 is kind of an unusual one, I guess it's a little bit larger. If you just did like, okay, well, I can multiply 104 by doing 1 times 104, and then you can just go ahead and keep dividing. So 2 times 52 would work. Then you can check 104, is it divisible by 3? No, it's not. You can go by 4. Yes, that one works. 4 times 26 divided by 5, you know that's not going to work. Divided by 6, that doesn't work. Keep on going. You're going to find out that, let's see, I'm going to get 8 and 13. After I keep going, 8 and 13 is going to work, right? As long as I have the 13 as negative, they will add up to be negative 5, and they will multiply to 104. Okay, so we're going to have 0 is equal to u minus 13 and u plus 8. And so what are the values of u? It's just going to be the opposites, right? What number minus 13 equals 0? That's going to be positive 13. And then what number plus 8? It's going to be negative 8. So there's your values of u. Okay, whoops. Number 11. This is probably mostly going to be calculator work for you, but I'll go ahead and solve it. So go ahead and plug in the j of 30. Everywhere you see an x, 3 times 30. And now we just go ahead and we solve this. We need to start inside or underneath this square root symbol. So we're going to 3 times the square root of 90. And then you break this apart, you're looking for a square. I think we're going to get 3 times the square root of 9 times the square root of 10. Square root of 9 is 3. So this is going to be negative 3 times 3 times the square root of 10. And finally, you're going to get negative 3 times positive 3, which is negative 9, times the square root of 10. And on the left side, we're just going to drop this way down. The j of 30 is equal to negative 9 times the square root of 10. But again, you guys could probably just type this part into your calculator and it will simplify it for you. Okay, let's see. Number 12, we're plugging in for the n here. So we got the h of 4 is equal to 3 times the absolute value of 2 times 4 minus 15 plus 1. Okay, so this one here, we actually don't have to do anything crazy. We can just solve this one. Okay, we don't have to set up two equations, right? Because we're not solving for a variable. We're just going to solve on the right side here. Okay, so we start inside the square root symbol. So we got 2 times 4, that's 8, minus 7, or sorry, minus 15. That equals negative 7. Let's make sure we drop down this 3 and this plus 1. Okay, now we take the absolute value of negative 7. Absolute value is always positive, so this is positive 7. Remember, there's no symbol in between here, right? So that means this is multiplication, so I'm going to remind myself that we need to multiply. And finally, we're going to get 3 times 7 plus 1. That's going to equal 22. So we're going to get the h of 4 is equal to 22. Okay. All right, 13. We've got an x here, right? So we're just going to substitute everywhere we see an x. 4. And again, just like the last problem, we don't have to factor here. We're just simplifying on the right side. There's no variable to solve for. We've already solved for that x, right? We were given the x being 3. So now we just solve for y. Okay? So we can just go ahead and multiply first. 2 times -3, that's -6. -3 times -3, that's +9. Don't forget to drop down this 4. And we can just simplify here. We get f of -3 is equal to, oh, sorry about that. Timeout. I just realized that there was this little, boom, I forgot about that. Didn't see this, that this was x squared. So I need to actually do that first. Sorry about that. So we're going to do -3 squared, which is -3 times -3, so that's 9. So now I got 2 times 9 minus 3 times -3 plus 4. Now I can go ahead and multiply. 2 times 9, that's 18. Again, we get +9 plus 4. And we should get the f of -3 is equal to, add them all up, we get 31. Okay. All right, number 14. I think I'll just set this one up. You guys can go from there. Number 14, we're given, this is identical, right? So we're going to go ahead and substitute, just completely substitute it out on the left side. -2 times n minus 2. Okay, now we have to solve for this variable, right? Oops. We need to solve for n. So we need to solve this absolute value equation, which means we're going to have two answers. First thing you're going to want to do, don't look at this yet and say, oh, it's going to be no solution, because once I get rid of this 2, right, this is -2 times the absolute value of n minus 2, so I need to get rid of that by dividing. And so now I get a positive 22 is equal to the absolute value of n minus 2. Now we can set up two equations. I'll leave you guys to do that one on your own. Number 15. Okay, we've got h of -5 is equal to 2 times -5 minus 5 all over 2 times -5. All right, so all we need to do here is go ahead and simplify here. Make sure you're following your order of operations there, and you should be good to go there. All right, the f of m is equal to 60. So this one here, we're going to do -60 is equal to m squared plus 17m. So I need to figure out what m is, which means I'm going to need to factor. First thing I need to do is add 60 on both sides. Set this equal to 0, as we say. So I'm left with 0 is equal to m squared plus 17m plus 60. So go ahead and break out your factors of 60s. How can we multiply to 60, right? 60 times 1, 30 times 2. Okay, and then just keep going from there. I'm going to let you guys finish that out. Okay, see if you can figure that one out. 17. Looks like we're solving for L here, so we're just going to substitute 27 every time we see it. F of 27 is equal to 2 times 3 times 27 plus 3 times the square root of 4 times 27. Okay, and again, you should just be able to use your calculators for this. Go ahead and simplify underneath here first, and then use your square root symbols on your calculator. You should be able to solve this one out. I'll let you guys do that one. And I think that's all I included for it. So I did most of them for you, or at least set up them all. So good luck with those. If you need help with them, come see me on the Google Meet.